Okay, so this is the part 2 of our discussion. If you're here and haven't watched the first part yet, please go to the first part so you can understand the things that I'll be discussing here on the second part. Okay, so as I was saying a while ago, yung mga posters na nakikita natin sa roads, like the commercial or fast commercials or let's say advertisements of yung mga fast foods na gano'n, like then now open, 30 kilometers. Yun is bakit konti lang ang text nila. It is because the people who, their target audience is yung mga mabibilis na dumadaan doon sa way na yun. Kasi nga mga nakamotor, kasi nga it's beside road. So, matik, yung mga dadaan doon, mga naka-vehicles. That's why ganun lang yung nilagay nila na mga text. If ang ilalagay mo doon is McDo, history of McDo, menu of McDo, branches of McDo, that's sa pinakababa, yung pinaka-main goal mo lang na now open, 30 kilometers from here. Feeling mo, bababa pa yung tao para basahin lang yun? Of course, no. And by that alone, magiging hindi effective yung message na meron ka. Kaya, in audience analysis, you should be aware or you should take note if your audience are captive or non-captive. Dalawa po ang kinds ng audience sa mobility. Captive and non-captive. Kapag captive, required silang magstay sa'yo. Kapag non-captive, hindi sila required. Say for example, non-captive audience. Alam niyo ba yung front row? I'm not sure if your generation knows front row. Basta yun yung networking. Meron kasi sila dung mga pa-seminars kapag they are recruiting. Yun, hindi yun captive audience kasi pwede ka namang umalis. Hindi ka naman required na magstay doon. Kaya, ang work ng isang speaker, let's say, wait lang, another example. Alam niyo yung mga nagbebenta sa mall? Like yung mga nagbebenta ng appliances, ma'am, ito po yung mga nagde-demo, utensils or appliances or gadgets or whatsoever, free taste, ganyan. Yun, they have non-captive audience kasi hindi kayo required na magstay doon. Kaya anong gagawin nila? Kailangan nilang manghikayat ng mga audience or kailangan nilang gumawa ng mga techniques para yung mga non-captive audience nila is hindi umalis at mapakinggan yung mga messages nila. Ano ba yung mga ginagawa nilang pakulo? Di ba meron yung iba, they have buy one, take one, para lang pumunta yung audience, para lang magstay. Yung iba naman nagpapa-free taste, para mas tumagal daw sila doon. Yung iba naman nag-exhibition, para hindi agad umalis yung audiences nila. Kasi nga, wala silang responsibility doon sa speaker. Kasi nga, they're non-captive audience naman. Kapag captive audience naman, let's say, for example, you're in a classroom. You are required, sa ayaw nyo man o sa gusto, required kayo na magstay sa classroom para makinig kay teacher, right? Kasi kung hindi, syempre, absent niya kayo. Now, those captive audience are required to be there inside the classroom. So maybe you're asking, so ma'am, kapag captive naman yung audience mo, hindi mo na kailangan mag-effort kasi nga, as you said, hindi naman sila pwedeng umalis. No. Hindi ganon. Kasi sa captive audience, still, you need to exert an effort as a speaker para hindi sila umalis. Kasi remember, there are different kinds of barriers, di ba? Pwedeng mangyari sa mga audience mo yung psychological barrier na tinatawag natin. They may be there, they're physically there, but mentally, they're not there. So, pwedeng nandun sila, pero lumilipad yung isip nila. So, hindi rin siya maganda as an effective communication. Hindi mo rin siya matuturing na effective communication. Okay? So, that is mobility. You will consider if yung mga audience mo ba is gumagalaw ba sila or nakastand lang ba sila. Okay? That's it. So, we're done with understanding situational characteristics, as easy as that. Kung F to F sana to, we have different activities para mas maintindihan niyo kung paano siya. And of course, exciting activities. Pero yun nga, unfortunately, we're not yet allowed to do so. So, ganito na lang. But I hope naman you understand. And if you have any question, you can ask si GC. Understanding situational characteristics is now done. Let's go to incorporating demographics. The incorporating demographics for me is the most exciting part of audience analysis. Sobrang dami niya at saka dito makaka-relate kayo. Incorporating demographics, kapag sinabi nating demographics, ito yung mga personal information about a person, di ba? Like, we have the age, gender, sexual orientation, and whatsoever. So, isa-isahin natin yan. Ngayon, tapos na tayo sa situational characteristics. Pumunta naman tayo sa incorporating demographics. Bakit mahalaga na alam mo yung age, alam mo yung gender, sexual orientation ng mga taong kinakausap mo or your audience? First is age. Let's go with age. Sa age, alam mo dapat kung sino ang kausap mo para mas magkaintindihan kayo. Let's say, for example, you have a large audience. Then yung large audience mo is hindi mo alam na Gen Z pala sila. Tapos ikaw, you are from a different generation, an older generation. Tapos, nagsasabi ka ng mga tao na, or mga reference mo na hindi nila nagigets. Para sa kanila, ang corny naman nito. Para sa kanila, ang ano naman nito. Hindi kayo nagkiklik. Kaya imbes na maibigay mo yung message mo sana, binabash ka pa tuloy ng mga audience mo at hindi kayo nagkakaroon ng pagkakaintindihan, hindi mo na-deliver sa kanila yung message na dapat sana is ma-deliver mo sa kanila. Hindi magiging effective yung communication nyo. Kapag alam mo kung sino ang audience mo, hindi naman literally kailangan magka-age kayo, kailangan nasa same generation kayo. Dapat lang alam mo kung sino yung mga kausap mo, what age range do they have, and kung paano mo makukuha, sabihin natin yung kiliti nila, or kung paano mo sila ma-persuade na makinig sa'yo, at paano mo sila ma-persuade sa message na ibibigay mo sa kanila. So, ganun lang naman siya sa age. Other than that, we have, bukod doon, hindi lang po doon nagtatapos yung audience analysis na tinatawag natin. Kasi nga, sabi ko sa inyo, in purposive communication, tinitrain kayo dito na maging professional speakers, right? So, syempre, kapag professional speakers na kayo in the future, dapat hindi na kayo nagsasalita ng mga bagay na will hurt other people. Let's say, for example, meron tayong tinatawag na ageism. Ageism. A-G-E-I-S-M. So, do you know racism? You know, sexism, you know, of course. So ageism, I assume you already have an idea about it. Ageism is yung your unfair judgment about age of people. Yung binabash mo yung tao based sa age niya. Diba kasi pag racism, you are degrading the person based on his or her race. Kapag naman sexism, based on their sex, biological sex. Kapag naman ageism, based on their age. So, paano siya nangyayari? Merong mga terms na dapat tinasabi or tinatawag mo sa group of people, meron din yung mga terms na hindi mo dapat tinatawag sa kanila. Tinatawag at hindi dapat tinatawag. Say, for example, eto, old people, pensioners, geriatric, dapat hindi nyo na to masyadong ginagamit for them. You should refer to them as seniors or mature ages para mas magmukhang professional ka. Bakit? O let's say for example, nag-MC ka, nag-host ka ng isang program para sa mga matatanda. Let's say for example, people whose age are already within the bracket of senior citizen. So, 60 pataas, ganon. Tapos isipin mo, i-welcome mo sila. Now, let's welcome the old people. Diba? What does it imply? Parang, ang pangit yung pakinggan, diba? Lalo kung sasabihin mo siya sa public, parang, what? Ano yung sinabi niya? Bakit niya sinabi yun? Instead, if you say, now, let us welcome the seniors. Diba? It's more pleasing to the ears, mas nagsa-sound ka sa professional person or host or MC. Next naman, kapag naman sa mga medyo bata, no, kayo, sa classroom nyo, how do I call you? Diba? I call you class, I call you everyone, dear, darling, mga ganyan. But, isipin nyo, kunwari kayo, first year college, tapos may pinagawa ako sa inyong activity, tapos sasabihin ko sa inyo, okay kids, are you already done? Diba? Okay, kids, pass your papers. So, hindi na siya appropriate. Kasi you're already first year college. The kids word is not appropriate na para sa age nyo. Lalo pa, meron na sa inyo ang mga legal age, right? I don't know if everyone's already in their legal age, but some. Safe to say that some, or mostly, sa inyo is 18 pataas na. So, for me to refer to you as kids, it sounds very ick for you, di ba, student? So, ganun siya. May mga terms ka na dapat sinasabi at hindi tinatawag at hindi dapat tinatawag sa mga audience mo. Other than that, yung mga sinasabi nating generalization of ideas or yung mga stigma, yung mga sinasabi na, ay, bata yan, wala yang alam. Hindi na dapat ganun ang pag-iisip natin. Hindi dapat din sinasabi yun. Like, for example, ikaw nag-speaker ka sa isang school. Tapos, dahil nagjo-joke ka, feeling mo joker ka, sabi mo, oh, may alam ba kayo ngayon sa mga nangyayari sa paligid natin? Baka naman ang alam nyo, mga kabataan, is puro jowa-jowa lang. Yung mga ganong klase ng statements is hindi mo dapat sasabihin because it is under audience analysis age. Porket mga bata sila, iisipin mo na yun lang ang nasa isip nila. Porket mga bata sila, iisipin mo that they are not aware of what's happening to their society. Ganon po siya. You should always be careful of everything you say. Pati rin naman sa mga matatanda, ganon, di ba? Meron tayong mga sinasabi na, ay, pag matanda, hindi na kayang gawin to. Ay, pag matanda, hindi niya na tayo naririnig, whatsoever. Hindi po dapat ganon, okay? Kasi, hindi siya dapat na ginagawa naman. And of course, hindi siya nakaka-professional pakinggan para sa iyo na professional na tao. Okay? I hope you understand. Ganon po siya. You should stop yourself from doing such judgments and yung mga ganong statements para sabihin sa iba. Kasi syempre, malay mo sa group of audience mo na yun, may makahurt tapos forever na yun na yung tumatak sa kanya about sa'yo. Dapat nga po hindi ganun. Right? Okay. So, that's age. Gender composition, very easy. Ganun lang din sa incorporating demographics. But in here, we are talking about gender. Kapag sinabi natin na sex, this is your sex biologically, kung anong organ ang meron ka, is it sa boy or sa girl. Kapag gender ang pinag-uusapan natin, sobrang dami po niyan. Now, we have two systems. We have the binary and the non-binary system. Kapag sinabi nating binary system, ito lang yung nakagisnan or yung sabihin natin, what do you call this? Ina-acknowledge ng Bible na babae at lalaki lang. Kapag non-binary, ito na yung napakarami nating genders in our society today. The LGBTQIA+++. I'm not sure if that's still the term, but the LGBTQIA++ community, kasama na sila doon. Now, I have a question for you. In purposive communication, ano ang kailangang ginagamit nyo? The binary system or the non-binary system? Think. Siyempre, baka i-move nyo lang to, di ba? Para malaman nyo agad yung sagot. But, you should use what? The non-binary system. Non-binary, ma'am? Bakit? Dalawa lang naman talaga ang gender. Bakit naman ganyan? For you, dalawa lang. No. Pero, in our society today, if we will look at it, marami na, or open na tayo when it comes to the LGBTQIA++ community. We are open to the idea that there are more than two genders and sex in this world. Wala namang mawawala sa'yo kung i-acknowledge mo sila, right? Masasaktan ka ba? Ikamamatay mo ba kapag in-acknowledge mo sila? Hindi naman. That's why, bakit ganun kailangan, ma'am, na i-acknowledge sila sa purposive communication? Kasi nga, di ba, in purposive communication, we are talking about your audience. And yung audience mo na yan, hindi mo sila kilala. Better if mag-i-stick ka doon sa non-binary kasi hindi mo na, pag sinabi mo na lahat to girls, hindi mo naman alam baka dito may bisexual, pansexual, homosexual, na ang nakikita mo lang is puro sila babae. Mas okay na yung you will try as a speaker to be inclusive doon sa mga genders na meron na tayo or the existing genders that we have. Okay? Ganun po siya. Other than that, you avoid gender stereotypes or sexist language. Meron tayong mga dito, examples. Ito, use titles to address consistently, Mr., males, or pwede rin namang tanungin mo yung tao. Okay? Lagi po yan. Kaya nga, di ba, nung nagpa-introduce yourself ako sa inyo or introduction of yourself, I ask you what your pronouns are. Kasi it's very important. Dapat sa panahon ngayon, marunong na tayong magtanong kung anong pronoun komportable yung isang tao. Kasi wala namang mawawala sa atin kung susundin natin kung anong pronoun yung gusto nila, 'di ba? It won't hurt us. Avoid occupational containing feminine suffixes like author, authoress, pwede namang author, headmistress, principal. Avoid the generic man composition. Mankind, humanity, ganyan. Irrelevant gratuitous, tama ba? Gratuitous gender descriptions. Lady editor, this one. I have an example for you. Is this right? The lady driver is driving the car. Wait, a word para mas maintindihan. Can you see? Siyempre, hindi naman kayo makakasalo. The lady driver was driving. Let's say is na now. Sorry, I'm such a bad typer. Driving the car. The male cook cooked for dinner. The male cook cooked for dinner. The lady driver is driving the car. Yung paggamit ng lady driver and male cook, are they correct? Yes or no? What do you think? The answer is what? Siyempre, huwag natin pahabain pa. It's wrong. Why? Why do you have to say that the driver was a lady? Why do you have to say that the cook was a male? Kapag lalaki ang driver, sasabihin mo lang, the driver is driving the car. Kapag babae ang nagluto, sasabihin mo lang, the cook cooked for dinner. Kasi kapag nilalagyan nyo ng ganito, lady driver, ito pa, lady editor, female doctor, male nurse, homosexual minister, ini-imply mo na parang kakaiba siya. Ini-imply mo na parang hindi siya usual. So, ang driving ba is gawaing pang babae lang? Ay, panlalaki lang? Ang pagluluto ba ay gawaing panlalaki lang? Ganun ba siya? So, stick with defining them as driver lang, as cook lang. Unless otherwise, it's very needed. Kasama siya sa tanong or whatsoever. Pero if hindi naman, you're just describing the person who's driving, you're just describing the person who cooked for dinner, just say it's a cook. Just say it's a driver. No need to say their gender, diba? Kasi nga, hindi naman needed. Parang may ini-imply kang ibang bagay if you will put ganon, the gender descriptions. Homosexual minister. Bakit kailangan mo sabihin that the minister is a homosexual? Kasi it's unusual for you? No, you should just say it's a minister, period. Okay? Now, meron na tayong gender-neutral terms na tinatawag. Dati kasi, mas more on lalaki lang yung mga terms na ginagamit natin whenever we're talking about professions. But now, we already have gender-neutral terms. At ito po siya. Ma'am, bakit kailangan pa ng gender-neutral terms? Inclusivity, okay? Audience analysis. Ang audience mo, hindi lahat yan ay open sa pagiging gender bias. So, mas okay na ang ginagamit mo is gender neutral para lahat ay kasama doon sa audience na kinakausap mo. So, I am encouraging you to take note of this, etong chart na to. So, forefathers po ay ninuno. Basta sabihin mong forefathers, bakit sa lalaki lang ba tayo galing? Ancestors, man-made, artificial, common man, average, chairman. Ito sa ISU ginagamit natin to, chairperson. Okay? Ladylike. Ito po is yung parang Maria Clara na tinatawag nila sa Tagalog. So, instead of saying ladylike, para siyang babae, just say they're courteous, they're cultured. Diba? Ano ba to? Okay? Freshman, your first year students. Why say freshman? Lalaki lang ba? Asa ba? Ito, mankind, my favorite. Lalaki lang ba ang anak ng Diyos? Siyempre, diba? Hindi. We have people, human beings. Ma'am, bakit yung human? Human is a word, okay? It's a noun. So, wala namang word na hu, diba? Wala namang ganon. So, human is a one word, kaya accepted yan. Human refers to a person naman, hindi naman lalaki lang. Okay, so that's it. I hope you took a screenshot maybe of this or take note of this, okay? So that's it, sa gender composition. Very easy, right? Gender composition. Next, let's go to sexual orientation. Mama, anong pinagkaiba ng gender composition tsaka sexual orientation? So, ganito siya. How you see yourself or how you, what do you call this? How you identify yourself is your gender composition. Your sexual orientation is who do you prefer? What sexual identity do you prefer? Like, for example, ako, I identify myself as a woman. I'm a woman. And my sexual orientation, I'm only attracted to male. Ganun siya. So, babae ako and attracted lang ako sa mga lalaki. Meron kasi tayong meron kasing mga other people na they identify themselves as opposite of what they were when at their birth. Like, for example, the transgenders. Like, for example, biologically, she is a boy, but she identifies herself as a woman. Yun yung gender composition. And yung sexual orientation niya, pwedeng attracted siya sa babae, attracted siya sa lalaki. And then, she is bisexual. Ganon, diba? So, attracted siya sa both binary system. Ganon siya. Kung kanino po kayo attracted. Ngayon, bakit naman nasama? Bakit naman nasama ang sexual orientation dito sa audience analysis? Dito naman, hindi mo dapat i-generalize yung mga alam mong stigma in your society. Like, for example, naging speaker ka, tapos, actually, I've experienced this talaga, like napanood ko. And I'm not very okay with it. Meron ako napanood, speaker siya, tapos parang lalaki siya. Then, tinatry niya siguro magpatawa. Nagtawag siya ng gay sa stage. Tapos yung gay na yun, identified niya talaga yung sarili niya as gay, ha? So, hindi ko siya ina-assume. Huwag kayo mag-a-assume ng gender ng isang tao. Unless otherwise they told you so that they're gay or they're not whatsoever. Yun din pala, sorry, nakalimutan ko si gender composition. Do not push a person na for example, para sa kanya, or sinabi niya nang lalaki siya, pinupush mo, ay hindi, parang hindi ka naman lalaki, sige na, sabihin mo na. You don't have the right to do that. Okay? That's very, very, very unprofessional and very nakakabastos. Huwag niyo pong gagawin yun. Kahit feel mo talaga, dahil etsyosera ka, feel mo talaga na ganun siya, huwag mong pilitin yung tao kasi baka nga, hindi talaga siya ganun. At respect mo yun kasi hindi naman ikaw siya. Okay? O, balik tayo sa sexual orientation. So, yun nga, may isang speaker, nagtawag siya ng gay sa stage. Na itong gay na to nagpakilala that he's gay, whatsoever. Tapos sinabi ng speaker, sige, magtawag naman tayo ng lalaki para sumaya siya. So, anong ini-imply niyan? That the gays' happiness rely on men? That's wrong, okay? Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin, eto mahirap talagang, this is a pill that's hard to swallow in the Philippines. Hindi porkit bakla ka, gusto mo lahat ng lalaki. Hindi porkit tomboy ka, gusto mo lahat ng babae. Hindi po ganun yon. Hindi porkit babae ka, gusto mo lahat ng lalaki. Hindi porkit lalaki ka, gusto mo na lahat ng babaeng dadaan sa harap mo. Hindi po ganun, okay? Always make sure that you will not do those kind of generalization. So baka sabihin niyo sa akin, so ma'am, kunwari 100 yung audience ko, di tatanungin ko sila isa-isa or magpapalagbok ba ako para malaman ko? Hindi po. Hindi po kailangan yon. Ano ang kailangan nyo? Maging sensitive kayo. Okay? Maging sensitive enough to not say those kind of things. Kung alam mo naman na may pwedeng ma-offend sa sasabihin mong words or sa sasabihin mong statement, huwag mo nang sabihin. Maging safe ka na lang. Okay? Hindi kailangan na alam mo lahat. What you need to do is you should be respectful and sensitive enough to not hurt other people's feelings. Okay? That's sexual orientation. Very, very easy. Next, let's go to race and ethnicity. Race and ethnicity is very rampant ngayon, no? Anong pinagkaiba ng race sa ethnicity? When we say race, ito yung physical characteristics ang sinishare ninyo. Ano ang race natin? We're Asian, diba? And in Asian, we usually have common eyes. hair structure, hair texture, ano pa ba? Skin color, yun ang race. Pag ethnicity naman, yung cultural background mo or yung mga, what they call this, yung mga kinagisnan mo na paniniwala, your practices in your life. That's your cultural background, that's your ethnicity. Ito naman, alam niyo naman na siguro to, yung mga racial slurs na tinatawag natin. Hindi niyo pwedeng sabihin yung mga racial slurs. Do you know the racial slurs? Siyempre, if hindi niyo alam, mas okay. Racial slurs. Slur is a word or slurs is used para hindi mo sabihin complete ng isang bagay. Like, for example, racial slur, we have the N slur. Hindi pwedeng sabihin po yan, ha? Ma'am, ba't hindi siya pwedeng sabihin? Bakit yung mga Black Americans sinasabi naman nila? Kasi darling, kasama sila doon. Okay? That's their race. Kasama ka ba doon para gawin mo siyang katatawanan? Hindi. Kasama ka ba sa history nila na naapi sila? Hindi. 'Di ba? Tayo ngang mga Pilipino, 'di ba? We don't want when they tell to us na tayo ay isang Indio. Kasi yun ay parte ng, sorry, malulubot na ako, wait. Yun ay parte ng ating history na ginamit siya against us para i-bash tayong mga Pilipino, para sabihan tayo that we don't have knowledge like the other races. So, ganun din po ang explanation siya is gagamitin mo siya. Ma'am, bakit sa mga kanta, ganito, ganyan? Nakita mo ba yung kumanta? Kabilang ba siya sa race na yun? Kung kabilang siya, it's fine with them kasi nga they're in that race. Unlike us, wala po tayo doon. We don't share common history na naging slaves and whatsoever. Kaya, as much as possible, don't say this, okay? It's very disrespectful. So, anong makukuha nyo kung sinasabi nyo to? Diba? To be cool? Wow. Okay, sorry. Nakat yun yung messenger ko to do. Ayan. So, next, let's go with, asa na ba ako? Let's go with, eto, mga examples to. You can read this na lang if you are, or you can pause para ma-read nyo to. Meron pa, eto sa Philippines, very rampant. Yung sasabihin mo sa katabi mo na, alam mo, ang baho mo, amoy ano ka. Tapos magsasabi ka ng nationality or magsasabi ka ng race ng isang tao. Parang amoy ano ka today. Ganon. Diba? That's bad. Okay? Pwede mo naman sabihin sa katabi mo kung talagang hindi mo matiis yung amoy niya na ang baho niya, ay ang baho mo. Pero wag ka na mag-incorporate pa ng isang group of people na nananahimik naman. Bakit mo naman sasabihin na kaamoy niya yun, di ba? Hindi naman sila lahat. Okay? If, sige, sabihin na natin meron ka talagang na-encounter from that group of people na ganun. Dear, hindi mo dapat i-stigma or hindi mo dapat i-generalize na ganun silang lahat. Aside from that, kung baka sabihin mo na, ma'am, hindi, lahat sila ganun, napatunayan ko. It's still not appropriate because it's part of their culture. Whatever they're doing, it's part of their culture that you will never understand. Kasi nga, di ba you will never? That you will not understand. Kasi nga, it's part of their living. Okay? So, we should respect that. So, mawawala na naman tayo ng time. I-ano ulit natin. I will make a part 3. Thank you.